Can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Great. Can you explain why you did what you just did while you pick up this trash?
On it. So I gave you the apple because it's the only edible item I could provide you with from the table.
Hi, this is Mindloop. How a startup founded 2 years ago created a robot that is better than Tesla's or Boston Dynamics robots. How will robotics change in the coming years? And did the creators of GPT chatbot play a role in it? Today, I'll cover how Figure 1 works. Using the description of one of the company's employees, I will explain why the triple AI model used to control this robot is so effective. Evolution, not revolution. 12 years ago, Boston Dynamics created the humanoid robot Petman. Petman was designed to mimic human movements. It was used in research and development for military applications. It was not autonomous. Yes, the program controls his balance and programmed movements. However, the entire system was controlled by a team of engineers. Over 10 years, Boston Dynamics has come a long way. However, it was characterized by slow evolution, not revolution. Currently, the most popular robot of this company is the dog robot Spot. It has become partially autonomous, meaning it can avoid obstacles in its path or climb stairs by itself. It's most often used for inspections like construction sites or drilling platforms. Engineers must program the path he must take and the elements he must photograph for inspection purposes. This greatly limits its functionality, as each task has to be programmed separately by a person. After years of slow evolution and ahead of time, revolution. Figure.ai is a startup aiming to deploy autonomous humanoid workers to support us on a global scale. In their opinion, our workforce is decreasing. In the United States, there are 10 million unfilled job positions. Well, I won't comment on their philosophy now, but maybe I'll make a video about the ethics of such an approach. Just a few years ago, we could speculate about robots that would replace us in the distant future. Now I think it's time to actually start worrying, because we know well what big companies will do when they can replace a human. Figure 01 has immense potential to popularize robots. It combines artificial intelligence models in a way not seen before. This approach gives him not only a better understanding of the situation, it can recognize objects of all kinds, from food to tools, understanding their structure and hardness before even touching them. It plans and executes actions while having a natural conversation with a human.
I think I did pretty well. The apple found its new owner, the trash is gone, and the tableware is right where it belongs.
And memory allows it to understand commands even better, as it knows what it has already done and what was located where. And probably most movies about Figure 01 would end at this point, since there isn't much information about him. I decided to dig a little deeper and found a detailed description of how it works on X. This description was made by Corey Lynch, a Figure AI employee responsible for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence times 3. The intelligence of Figure 01 operates on 3 pillars. Each of them is an independent artificial intelligence model. The first pillar is LLM, a large language model, which is the technology behind the operation of, for example, the ChatGPT. It is unknown which exact model was used, but we do know it's a model from OpenAI, creators of ChatGPT, and that it is multimodal. This means it not only handles text, but also images. It's very likely GPT-4. The second pillar is Neural Network Visuomotor Transformer. Without going into details, it's responsible for hand movements based on the robot's camera information. The third pillar is the controller of the whole body. There's no information that it's a neural network, but it can be assumed. Its task is to maintain the balance of the entire robot and the safety of its movements. How does all this work? I will now move on to analyzing the posts of someone who worked on artificial intelligence in this machine. This robot sees through cameras and hears through microphones. The sound from the microphone is converted to text.
Great. Can I have something to eat?
Sure thing.
Large language model, the first pillar, receives an image as well as processed. Based on this, it recognizes the situation it's in and creates an action plan, which is sent to the second pillar. The second pillar, namely the visio-motor transformer, does exactly what the name suggests. It takes the action plan created by the first pillar and an image from the camera. It performs quick, reactive behaviors that are hard to manually program, like moving a deforming bag in any position. The third pillar is responsible for maintaining balance and checks if every movement the robot is going to make is safe. Let's step away from figure 01 for a moment and think about how we wash dishes ourselves. Well, first comes the moment of decision, that it's finally time to save them. Then we spend a moment thinking about how to put this pile of dishes into the dishwasher so that everything doesn't collapse. And then we put the dishes into the dishwasher one by one. We don't actively think about whether we're standing straight or if we might fall over. Figure 1's thought process is surprisingly similar to that of humans. Its cameras recognize objects, the microphone detects voice, and a large language model gives it an unprecedented intelligence. It's easy to notice when the first pillar processes information. It's the moment when the robot stands still, waiting for a response from the server processing the information. Large language models require tremendous computing power, so it has to be done on an external server. In summary, a large language model has forever changed robotics. Here are a few scenarios where combining large language models with robotics can yield surprisingly human results. If you asked the robot to identify an apple's variety, it would lift it closer to the camera for a better look. If you asked whether this apple is edible, he would turn it in his hand to see it from every side. Large language models have been trained on millions of books and images, and a new model that's better than the previous one is announced every so often. It means that the intelligence of robots will progress in tandem with LLM models. Here's an interesting fact. Have you thought about who invested in this startup? Microsoft, Nvidia, and Amazon have invested in the company. Likely this means Microsoft or Nvidia would want a stake in the robotics of the future. Amazon is Amazon. It will probably want to replace its warehouse workers. Currently, Figure AI is valued at $2.6 billion, and this startup is only 2 years old. And you, what are your thoughts on the future of robotics? Are you scared? Feeling optimistic? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you liked the video, give a thumbs up and subscribe.